today's video, I'm going to be talking about what people with long locks won't tell you. Let's get to it. Welcome back to the Atreyu Locs channel. Hi, I'm Atreyu, a semi-freeformer who is dedicated to bringing you the best tips to grow a healthy set of locks. If this is your first time, make yourself comfortable. I am glad to have you. So in today's video, as I said, I'm going to be talking about things that people with long locks won't tell you. And let me clarify, when I say people with long locks, I'm talking about the people that you see walking about out in the streets with just these beautiful, long, flowing locks. Trust me, you are just getting a snapshot of what is really happening. And in today's video, I'm going to be talking about what you don't see. So the first thing that you should know about long locks is that they get caught in everything and that they can be very much so a nuisance. Many of you who have shorter locks right now are dreaming of the day when your locks are super long. I understand. I was there. Trust me, I get it. Having long locks is a beautiful thing. I would never say that it's not. But there's a reason why I may not seem as excited about my long locks. They get caught in everything. I mean, everything, and they can really be such a nuisance. Trust me, getting caught in your shirt, getting caught in a jacket, getting caught when you're just sitting down and trying to get up, getting caught when you're trying to lay down to go to sleep, getting caught in your book bag if you use one of those. I mean, any and everything that you could imagine, they get caught in. Getting caught with the seatbelt when you're in your car, they're everywhere. Not to mention the fact that when you're trying to eat or do daily things like brush your teeth, they're right there in the way, just trying to get up in the mix. So please know that yes, having long locks is a wonderful thing. It's fun, you've arrived. But there are some downsides to having long locks. One thing that you can do to combat your locks from getting in the way is just to make sure that you have a scrunchie or a hair tie nearby. A lot of lockers will wear one on their wrists so that when they want to keep their hair out of the way, they just pop it off the wrist and put their locks up. So yeah, that's the first thing that you should know about long locks. The second thing that you should know about long locks is that they take longer to dry. As you would probably anticipate, with more hair, that's more area that is wet, then that's more area that needs to dry because it's wet, right? So yeah, they're gonna take longer to dry. Now, I don't think it's like an exponential increase per se, but they take longer to dry. And along those same lines, if you think about why they're wet in the first place, usually they get wet because you've washed them. So getting to the washing, and if you use conditioner incorrectly, then you're gonna use more shampoo and more conditioner, even though you shouldn't. You should be putting conditioner only on your roots, which is the loose hair, so that it doesn't cause buildup in your locks. But anyway, that's another story, that's another video. Yeah, I'll leave a link to it in the description. But yeah, you're gonna use more of anything that you normally use to put on your locks, okay? So that's more shampoo, more water, and it's gonna take longer for them to actually dry. Sorry, there's no way around it. All right, so that's the second thing you should know about long locks. The third thing you should know about people with long locks is that we sometimes get envious of people with short locks. Now, I know this is kind of not expected because it's like, well, you spent the majority of your time having locks or shorter locks, wanting longer locks, and when you have finally long locks, now you're telling me you want short locks? Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. I can't tell you how many times I've seen people with like locks that are just at their shoulder, you know, kind of like cupping their face, and just remembering my time when my locks were that length and wishing I could go back and experience that. Once again, trust me, I love having longer locks, but it's kind of like you become nostalgic and it's like, yeah, that was a great time. And if you were obsessing constantly over wanting long locks, then you didn't appreciate and savor that time with those shorter locks. Trust me, your hair still got in the way and stuff when your locks were that length too, but it's just the look in of itself, you know? Like someone with locks at this length, shoulder length, looks very different than someone with locks, or looks very different than the same person with locks that are, you know, down to their chest. So yeah, Occasionally, people with long locks will wish that they had shorter locks. Embrace your shorter locks, people. The fourth thing that you should know about people who have long locks is that sometimes we daydream of cutting them. No, I'm not saying that every locker does, but I think probably most lockers have thought about it once or twice or thrice or more. And I mean, some lockers who had long locks actually did cut because they thought about it. Usually these are fleeting thoughts. Usually, you know, they're transitory. They come and go. Maybe you're just feeling like you're not having a good lock day or whatever, and you miss other styles, or maybe you miss, you know, other types of variety. You can still have variety when you have locks, but maybe you miss, you know, just completely different hairstyles and stuff. So sometimes you might actually consider cutting them. Hopefully not, you know, if long locks or locks period is what you truly want, but don't be surprised when you finally get to a place where you consider yourself having long locks that, you know, you get this random thought like, yeah, that fade, that'd be dope, you know? And it's like, where'd that come from? Like, I love my locks. Where did that come from? So yeah, that's the fourth thing that you should know about people who have long locks. Hey, if you are enjoying this video, don't forget to smash the subscribe button and hit the notification bell so you are notified every single time I upload. How about that? The fifth thing that you should know about people who have long locks is that once you have them, you have essentially arrived. And unfortunately, the novelty wears off. So in the earlier parts of your journey, like I said, you're so focused on length. I can't wait till my locks get long. Can't wait till they get to this length. Da 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 da. Right? Then when you finally get there, it's almost underwhelming. It's like you hyped it up so much in your head, like you fantasized about it so much, that when it actually finally happened, it wasn't as big of a deal as you thought it was gonna be. One, I think, is because it took so long. You definitely did not receive the benefits of immediate gratification, right? You had to wait years for your locks to get there. And during that time, you started to focus more on other things, just naturally, right? You can't watch paint dry for hours. Like, you'll get bored and you start to unknowingly just focus on other things, and then you come back to see if the paint is dry. It's kind of like the same thing with locks. Like, yeah, initially you're so focused on them, like you're just like checking in the mirror multiple times a day to see how much they've grown, if they've grown a millimeter or whatever. But then finally at some point you kind of let go of that and you let your locks grow without you watching them. And then before you know it, like, you're at a new length, an impressive length. And you're like, wow, when did that happen? So unfortunately, the novelty does wear off. I feel like a lot of times once you get to the place that you imagined, it's not as big of a deal as you thought it would be, as you made it out to be, as you hyped it up to be. And it's not a bad thing, it's just reality, you know? I think that it really is about the process. It's about the journey, or in my case, the quest, versus the actual destination. Because if you talk to Atreyu 6 years ago, then me being at this point with long locks, I would be like, oh my God, this is so amazing, right? But now I'm just like, yeah, I love my locks. I love how long they are. They're cool. But, you know, it is what it is. So I don't know. Maybe you'll have a different experience, but I really doubt it. So these are the 5 things that you should know about long locks and people with long locks. If you choose to love, do so unconditionally, because loving with conditions conditions the heart to not really love at all. This is Atreyu Locs, and I'll see you next time. Peace.